And we shall begin. And that is the logo in which we begin with. Yes, everybody, that is what happens. And we are going to transition all fancy and stuff. Look at that twirl, that half-second twirl. Anyway, thank you for joining us, and we are actually going to be doing the Mevo Plus review, and I'm live switching myself here, so it's very interesting. I'm going to hope that the stream doesn't automatically stop because this little program is sometimes glitchy, and it doesn't look like it's stopping. So we're just going to go ahead. So part of this series, live series, is because I'm testing out a few things to make sure that this live streaming setup will work for Story and Heart, which is a company that I work for. To check out that company, go to storyandheart.com. I work for the Academy of Storytellers, which is a link that's under that URL. Now, since this is live, you're going to hear some traffic in the background. I'm using a shotgun mic through the iPad, through an iRig Pre. So hopefully we are hearing things pretty clearly here. But let's dive in right into the review, okay? So I am starting this review without the Mevo or Mevo Plus in front of me because I want to actually first go ahead and show you what it is like interfacing with the Mevo. So I'm going to go ahead and actually start the screen capture of the interface of what it is like, and then you'll actually find out this way what it's like. So, all right, so that's the interface. I'm going to actually hide this right here. And this is a pre-recording because I couldn't really figure out how to stream a Mevo stream as well as show my screen, so this is it. So what I'm doing right now is I am streaming a 1080p stream to a unlisted YouTube stream. And you can actually see one of these tests that I did as one of other videos that's on the channel. Yeah, actually, it is a little bit low. I've been trying to figure that out. If you don't mind a mic being right in front of my face, I can actually raise that, or I'll just start screaming. So anyway, you can see that I'm zooming things around here. Trevor, I think you already seen me do that before. But just give me a second here. Enjoy me setting up different camera angles and zooming around. But I am actually just simply panning around right now by tapping the screen. And it is going left and right, and there's annoying pop-ups on the upper left that give you little hints, and on upper right is what your audience sees. Yeah, can you hear me now? Yeah? I am muting my monitor here, so pardon. Anyway, since the audio is low, maybe you'll actually not... Oh, hey, check it out. Okay, so I just started a stream to YouTube. Or stopped. Oh, no, I stopped it. Yeah, and actually another thing that you can do with the Mevo is actually record to a micro SD card that's on the Mevo camera itself, which you saw a little glimpse of that. So right now I'm actually setting up different preset stationary cameras. That's a cool thing about the Mevo is that you can make one camera act like several. And you can see right now I'm setting up a, that was like kind of a medium shot. Now I'm going for a close-up. If I go to grid view, I'm seeing that those are showing up right now. Pardon if I'm going through the interface a little bit fast in this recording. But yes, this is pretty cool. Pretty cool. And because I have a pretty simple setup in my garage, I decided I need to create some stupid camera angles in which you'll see are of nothing, of a corner of a table. Then I have everything except for one slot on the grid left. So I just have to create a really stupid AF camera angle of the frickin' corner of the table. And then you have to do this all when you're not streaming. That's one little iffy thing about it is that you can't be streaming when you're setting up these camera angles. And you could actually live edit from this grid. But you can also tap on the little small squares on the main screen in order to switch as you go. If you're streaming solo, this is a little bit annoying. You're going to have to look at your iPad or iPhone all the time. See, it gives annoying tips up there. Here I'm switching between the Mevo and the iPhone mic. I think the iPhone mic, if you're going to have it right in front of you, works better. But you can also attach some compatible mics to your iPhone, so that is an additional source. You might hear my cat meowing off to the side. So I might have to let him out. Anyway, you're seeing me set up Autopilot. So much lower on zoom, taking a 4K. Oh yeah, Trevor. So they're downsampling to 1080p. Yes, absolutely. But they're like processing from a 4K image, absolutely. And I think when it's zoomed in all the way, like that close-up shot that's on my face, it goes to 4K. But anyway, I'm gonna go through this little live edit right now. I set it to super fast autopilot, and it's just auto editing between all those different angles. In the upper right, you can see what the audience is seeing. That red square is the framing. And what's cool is that lights in front of the Mevo will tell you how wide of a shot you have through a white little circle. Now, this is editing at a dizzying pace. So usually you wouldn't want to edit that fast, but yeah, it just shows what you could do without having to tap. So anyway, I'm going to go ahead and stop showing this, because you're probably going to vomit looking at that. And back to me. So actually now I have the Mevo in front of me. Well, this is the Mevo Boost, and this is the Mevo. This little teeny thing is the Mevo. And I'm going to show this overhead shot that I'm very proud of because I'm using the RX100 to stream now through live to air. So hopefully autofocus is okay. So this is the Mevo Plus. It's a little sexier than the original Mevo, but more or less the same design. It's a super wide lens right in front, and more on that later. And then the top button, I covered all this already with the unboxing and some playing around with it. It has this little bottom part that's removable, but it has a 1/4-20, and also if you remove the 1/4-20, it's not a 3/8. It's like I forgot what millimeter or what inches, whatever, but it could record to connect to a mic stand. So it's for those music event people out there that just want to set it up and forget it and have it live stream it and live edit different angles. Take it off and then, oh, I just locked it. Take it off and then you reveal the micro SD slot right here, and then how you charge it, the USB. And of course there's some connectors on the bottom, plus, communications, blah, 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 license. So this is how you connect it to the Mevo Boost. And the Mevo Boost is essentially a big battery pack that gives you a few bonuses, such as a Ethernet port, which gives you a little bit more secure of an internet connection, and then a USB port as well, in which actually you could connect like an audio interface like the Scarlett Solo, or actually no, Scarlett Solo doesn't work. Scarlett Duo works better. Scarlett 2i2, I believe. Anyway, and then you charge it with this, and then I did realize that these are LEDs, and this shows that it is nice and full. I got to keep this on the frame. So you just attach it over here, and it's magnetized. Yep, hello, focus. And then you want to lock it because it's fallen out a couple of times. The magnet isn't actually that strong. Now, the annoying thing is that I can't seem to completely turn off the battery pack. It always is charging, so it slowly depletes as long as the Mevo is on top of it. So you want to, when you're storing it away or traveling or just not using it, to actually just take it out. So this is a really great way of using the Mevo, but this is an extra $250. So if you're always using Wi-Fi and then your Wi-Fi is totally strong and you don't need to put an audio interface through here and you're using your iPhone as an audio interface, then this is not necessary. Actually, it's great to have if you're an Ethernet nut, but it's not really necessary. So we're just going to focus on the Mevo Plus itself. Now, enough of the hardware. I really want to talk about the pros and cons now. So the pros are really awesome, but the cons actually led me to decide against keeping this little guy. Let's start out, shall we? Let's start with the positive, shall we? It's let's not go negative yet. Let's not go negative. So, my number one pro. And my cat is meowing in the background. Let me introduce the really whiny little cat in the background. This is Loki. This is Loki, the cat. I hope I didn't just trip on the Ethernet cable. Okay, anyway, I should probably let him out at some point, but yes, we might have some live interference from kitties. He does not want to be held right now. He's usually very docile, but he just stabbed me in the boob. Anyway, okay. Let me talk about first Pro. Okay, my first love is that the Mevo is the Apple of live streaming. Yes, the Apple of live streaming. And do you know why I say that? I say that because it is so simple to use. Essentially, this can be your all-in-one live streaming solution as long as you have a smartphone in order to control it. You do have to control it from the app, but there is an option to actually, like, once you set everything up with the app, just not even have the app and just press the top button. Make sure you set it so that you press a start button and just start streaming. So it's extremely simple. Yeah, and super wide lens, if set it and forget it, you really don't have much time in order to start it. You just book like that. Of course, if you want to change Wi-Fi networks, you're going to have to use the app. There are a few caveats to that, so I'll get to that later, though. So I'm going to oscillate between the good and the bad. And one of the bad things that I don't really like about the Mevo is that the autopilot leaves some to be desired. That's one of my non-loves. The autopilot is just phoning it in. Phoning it in. It's kind of like just going in a pattern between the different the camera angles. Actually, it is not that smart in detecting motion. Even if someone is talking and gesticulating, it's just going to cut to something completely unrelated. Like a person that's just sitting there looking a little bored or whatever. Like I tested with my wife and it was the funniest thing. It just showed her looking bored while I was talking very effusively about something. So in a live show, I highly recommend just having somebody tapping to edit. So they could respond to who's talking and stuff. So this is if someone is talking. If you're just a band member and you want to live stream and you want it to automatically go from face to face, it does have face detection. And if you don't really care about the timing or whatever, it works great. But otherwise, solo live streaming without anybody helping you, it's a little bit limiting on. Who is chatting with me right now? Well, yeah, Trevor, I really wonder if someone did steal an engineer from Apple. I mean, people love doing that all the time. I mean, like, Nest engineers are from Apple too, right? But I have no idea. So anyway, let's go to the next thing that I don't love so much. Oh, actually, I just went to a negative, right? So I have to go into a positive now. And the positive is that... Oh, come on. Come on. Okay, one love is the awesome overall stream quality. With some caveats, of course. Straight from this little camera, it is one of the best, cleanest looking streams I've ever seen. This is not really talking about the sensor noise or anything like that, but just how clear it is, how sharp the image is. When I went onto Facebook with a live stream just on my personal account, it was pretty clean, and everybody commented on how sharp it was. So sometimes when you go down to 720p on the stream, it looks like crap. But some people could say that it looked like 1080. So it's actually a pretty nice quality camera in that sense. But the caveat, oh my God, is this thing out of batteries? Oh my God, is someone doing some hedge trimming outside right now? Oh, it is horrible. I hope you guys aren't hearing that too badly. Okay, anyway, I want to give you a closer... Okay, maybe we don't need that top angle anymore. Anyway, so, but there's a downside to that. All right, so I'm going to start showing you a few stills of a test that I did. All right, so here is a still of me at the wide setting. And it is, actually, this is the fisheye setting. And the fisheye is super duper wide. If you don't need to see the whole scene and you have a seamless like I have set up, it's a little crappy. And I use a seamless. I like to use a seamless. I don't like people seeing my whole junky, garage. So that's a little bit annoying. But thankfully, they do have different settings, like this narrow setting. Because a couple other settings don't really look any different. This normal, the wide, and then the fisheye are all about the same. And when we go to narrow, this is what narrow looks like. Now, I kept the same composition by pushing the camera out as it got narrower. So that's why it looks like that. But this is more to show you the difference of distortion. And distortion is a big thing because I wanted to both crop in to the seamless and also show what's on the table, which is very hard when it's so distorted and you have to zoom in quite a bit. So I eventually went to the flat setting, which is the most cropped in. So you're not getting the full use of that 4K sensor. And this creates a problem actually because the whole idea behind this whole Mevo thing, is the ability to edit, as you go, between different camera angles from one camera. And if your one camera is already so zoomed in that you lose so much picture quality by punching in from that already cropped in image, then it's just going to look like crap. And I'm going to show you here. Hopefully you can see it on YouTube because it's highly compressed. First of all, I'll show you the medium shot. This is cropped in on the sensor in flat view and then cropped in 50% in order to, actually, I think you would call this 200% zoom to just get the seamless in frame, not get any of the crap in the background. So already there is an image quality loss. Already you go from 4K to what I believe is closer to 720p or less. But then I have to go in for a close-up, right? And first, I'll show you. This is when it's 4 times cropped in from the normal view, which is the full sensor, full-ish sensor. And at 4x, if you could see with whatever streaming setting that you are seeing, there is some noise. There is some crunchiness. Well, I'm sorry, not crunchiness, but there's those little artifacts. So I'm just going to leave this on screen for a little bit just so in case the buffer needs to clear up for you guys, you could see it. So on my shirt especially, you see the noise. It chatters a lot. All that noise just kind of flickers around. But let's go to when I'm really cropped in using the flat mode. And you can see, with like I'm not happy with it with my face. It's even blurrier. It's not as different as I was expecting, but it's definitely blurrier. It's definitely noisier. And yeah, no bueno. No bueno at all. I don't like it. So this is how I would be using the Mevo, right? And that is a little bit iffy if I were to stream like that. Okay, what's cool is that from one angle, I could, for example, put this in front of me. And yeah, put this in front of me and I can have it zoom in as I talk and move this around. But what's the point when it is such low quality? So for me, it doesn't really work that well, at least with this setup. For concerts, for events, if you need to live stream a wedding or something like that, then, more power to you. It probably works great. But in the end, for me, that is a big no-no to have such low image quality when zoomed in. It's going to look obviously zoomed in. You lose the whole, the illusion of there being multiple cameras. So for me, unfortunately, I'm going to have to return this because this is $500. For the people in which that caveat is not a problem, this is definitely worth it. I really wanted to keep this. But for me, in this particular setup that you're seeing me stream in right now, it's just not really worth it. $500 and then an extra $250 for this? Yeah, I can't really justify it. Okay, let's go to the chat room. Yeah, I think what's actually happening, Trevor, and Trevor is saying, yeah, he still doesn't get it. 1080p should be clean as a whistle, and 720p should look much better than how it does. Yeah, what I think it's doing is not necessarily cropping in on the sensor, for example, like how a GH4 or GH5 does. It's probably taking the 4K image that's pre-processed and then punching in. It is, and I think that's why we see even compression chatter in addition to the grain of the sensor, and that pretty much lowers things a little bit. So Mevo, which I suppose is owned by Livestream, which is now owned by Vimeo. So I guess Vimeo, if you could, find a little bit of magic in order to not only find a way to optically zoom in and also zoom in digitally a bit better, that would be great for us pros, So, yeah, that's my little suggestion for you guys. I love what you guys have here, though, and I do recommend this for people that don't mind the caveats. So, let's take a look at my other notes and see. Let's see. Love streaming quality. Da, 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 da. Yeah, oh yeah, I forgot to put on this fun little thing. The dislove of fixed super duper wide lens. I think that we could get around my complaint of having to crop in even more on the cropped image and lose a lot of image quality if they had like some kind of zoom lens or even one of those, iPhone style, those little like clip on lenses. So you could clip it on right in the front in order to get a tighter view. And maybe in an event, you can't really move the camera that close. I can't imagine putting this like in a wedding, like right in front of the altar or gazebo or whatever. It's just obnoxious, So some kind of zoom option would be very helpful so that you don't have to get all blurry faces of the bride and groom in that sense. I'm not exactly sure if live streaming for weddings is a big business. Maybe for the rich weddings, But yeah, I mean, I think you could charge a decent amount of money with this. If you do want to start, hiring yourself out for very simple live streams. But if you do have $3,000 to spend and have a live stream live switcher, this could be used as one of the cameras on that switcher system, which I think it starts getting a little bit iffy there, especially if you already have your own cameras and you could use other live switchers. Okay, Trevor again. Yep, right in the bride's face. I do. Okay, so anyway, that kind of concludes my review. I love it. I love the Mevo Plus, but it's just not for me right now. And I think a future generation might be for me. So I'm going to be throwing this back in the box. Thankfully, I kept it. And I'm going to be returning it back to B&H. And if you do buy this, because what I don't like about it is totally whatever's to you, go and click on the link on below. That will tell B&H that I am their homie. And they could trust me to send me more stuff to review for you guys so you don't have to try it and then have to return it, right? So I'm opening it up to questions right now. I'm just going to blabber until I get questions. And if I don't get questions in the next couple of minutes, I will end the stream. And perhaps some people will actually like that because this actually has been going on for 22 minutes. I kind of blabber like that. The cat is not meowing. All right, so I am going to load a couple of other images then. Hopefully it doesn't crash the stream. So what I want to load is actually a still of the different... oh, hey, Trevor. Yeah, Trevor, I agree. Trevor says that I think it could be a home run product with a few tweaks. Yes, it was almost a home run product for me. So I share that sentiment. It's I really want it to work for me, and it's best just in case they don't develop a lens attachment before the new version, and I prefer to just return it before my return window ends. Which I'm not sure if it's already ended. I already printed out the label and stuff, and probably right after the stream, I'm gonna mail it back. So yeah, Light Point, you did kind of come at the wrong time, but you just caught me right before I was ending, so you could actually ask some questions. So please ask away some questions. I do give my full thoughts in the earlier part of the video. But as long as it's not, exactly the same thing that I've been saying for the last 24 minutes, I will answer any questions. So Light Point Films, go ahead, ask away. There is a 30-second delay, so please bear with me. And pardon the audio. Destroy the live stream. Stepped on something weird. Okay, so I'm back for questions. Hopefully you guys are... Yeah, I know, exactly. Oops. So I'm using live to air right now, and it's not exactly perfect. Let me see if I could get this angle working again. Maybe that angle is losing batteries. Yeah, it did crash. Oh yeah, so Light Point Films. This is a Mevo Plus. I guess you didn't join us for this. You just joined it for me. Thank you. I'm just jumping to conclusions right now. that you're here just for me, not the Mevo Plus. But I am here to answer questions if you want. It does look like my top angle has run out of batteries. RX100. I don't have a power adapter connected to it. I should do that in the future. So, yeah, opening up for questions. I'll just let it run for 2 more minutes so the people watching this afterwards don't get annoyed. But while... Oh, thank you, Lightpoint Films. He said, of course he did join just to look at my face. I've been gaining some weight and growing a mustache. I'm becoming an adult. But, okay, so I do want to ask you guys how... And leave this in the comment section, not in the chat window, because I think the chat window disappears. What do you think about this live stream format? Because I'm able to produce these pretty much on a weekly basis. While the more produced stuff that I did before, I could probably only do a couple of times a year. So I got to find a trade-off, either more, but live format, or more produced and take a whole lot longer to release. So please do, give your vote. Not only give a thumbs up, but leave in the comment section that you like what's going on here, this method of getting reviews to you faster. So, okay, questions. Are you talking about like alternatives to the Mevo Plus? Trevor is asking, what is the alternative to this you're looking at? Something like a GoPro or the new Sony RX0 or even one of the little Blackmagic micro cameras? Well, I don't think those have quite the abilities of the Mevo, so I think it's not quite apples to apples. It's more like apples to bananas or something. Bananas have way more potassium. I would say that this is a banana, because the potassium is the live edit between angles feature, unless the RX0 has that somehow. I don't believe the GoPro has that. The freaking cat hair all around. The cats totally destroy the stream. I blame it on the cats. Anyway, yeah, that's the answer to that. So, yeah, please like and subscribe if this is working out for you. Please don't unsubscribe if this live thing isn't working out for you. I think it's working out for me because I love playing with gear, and I just don't have a crap ton of time to like produce and edit and script things. I love like how I could be absolutely off the wall, batshit crazy. Oh no, I swore. Bleep. With produced stuff here, it's all depending on how much caffeine I have in my system. Trevor, we're left with LOL. Is that all we have? LOL? That was the last question. So we have Lightpoint Films and Trevor Pinocchi as audience members here asking questions about the Mevo Plus and Mevo... Oh my god, is this on? And in the Mevo Boost. And I guess that's it. And thank you so much for joining. As I said before, please comment on how you're liking these live productions, and any comments for possible improvements. What do you want to see more of in terms of gear? And yeah, whether the live format is working out for you for getting more content faster. And also subscribe if you want to be notified of events that are coming up. I usually set the event like just 15 to 30 minutes before it actually starts. So, and then you'll see my face. I know, Lightpoint, totally demonetized or limited monetization. I wish I could just bleep that so I could still monetize. I mean, you know what? I still have not gotten a check from YouTube from all these years. I think I have like $100 from 2 years of these videos. It's chump change. I don't know how some people get like $1 million a year. I guess it's because they have like 12 million views per video or some shit. I'm just gonna keep on swearing. Meow. Oh, I think the Blackmagic has a suite of hardware that will give you additional features, but it's expensive. And the microcam... Yes, Trevor. And hi, air control. Meow, back to you as well. Trevor, yes, I have used the Blackmagic system extensively, actually, and it's expensive. It's not as expensive as getting your own video, TV studio, but they have a lot of stuff that's expensive and, not quite as cheap as what we're hoping these to be, and plus my live-to-air setup over here. So it's good for some uses. I use it for the workshop for Story and Heart, and this is where I plug in the place that I work for, in which I create educational content. And this is, and on my channel, I'm just testing stuff out and being stupid. Stuff that probably shouldn't go on there, like the S word, the S bomb that I just did. So storyandheart.com at the academy. So at our workshops, the Together workshops, which is at togetherworkshops.com, we did use the Blackmagic live switching system, which is a little bit beefy in order to do that workshop. If you don't want to invest several $1,000s in that, then I recommend looking at either this or a couple of other options such as Teradek Live to Air, which does sometimes crash. So yeah, okay. I hope that was a good answer to that. Meow. Last chance, guys. I'm about to wrap up again. I keep on wrapping it. Oh, okay. Gosh, you're hijacking this episode. Okay, fine. I will answer air-controlled Zong. What would you say about wireless video transmission system? Looking right now for my newly acquired Movi Pro. Congratulations on the Movi Pro. That thing is a beast. An awesome beast. It's pretty sexy. It's much easier than the first generation. Okay, so for wireless transmission, if you want something that is cheap but not one of those totally generic no name brands, look into Paralinx. Look into Paralinx Ace. And that gives you a decent, 100 feet of practical, okay, maybe not 100 feet. But anyway, so of practical, HDMI or SDI wireless transmission. But if you really want to be on sets and you have clients watching and stuff and they don't have the patience for things, not quite connecting, then don't use the Paralinx Ace because once you have enough interference, it just becomes weird. It starts cutting out and start having weird artifacts. In that case, I do recommend getting the Bolt Pro or the Bolt 300. Or do they even have that anymore? They keep on upgrading. So the middle of the road to high-end bolts, they're very expensive. But if you are on commercial shoots, like shooting for Samsung or something, or on a TV show shoot with your Movi Pro, having that wire solution is probably a good idea. So you don't look like a chump on set. I always brought my Teradek to sets, and it always worked great. And that's what I would recommend. It doesn't have its own power, so you probably have to rig up a battery or power off of the Movi battery. Thank you for hijacking. We are talking about something totally different now. And how the hell did it become half an hour? I was targeting for a 15-minute stream, people, but I love you all. Bolt Pro 500, so that's the middle of the road thing now. Yes. I'm friends with Teradek, and in fact, I drove all the way over to their Teradek office in Irvine in order to test out this new hardware for this live stream that I'm doing right now, which is using the iPad. And the iPad is actually connecting to a Teradek Sphere, which is actually built for 360 streaming. But there's a little secret use of it by connecting it to their iPad app and then live streaming between 4 different HDMI sources. Air controlled Zong, you will make it there onto TV or to movie sets, But either way, the Teradek systems are solid. They're definitely worth the investment, and you can rent it out as well. It's one of those name brands that do rent out. The cheaper brands, nobody really trusts it, so people won't really pay much or anything at all to rent. But Teradek, people will pay $150-ish to rent each time, and you could pay it off in, I don't know, in a year if you're in a place that has a high demand for that. Okay, this is where I start tapping over to the end animation if there's nothing else. And if there's nothing else as soon as I tap this, well, too bad. Hey, check out that transition, huh? Boom. Bye. Crap, you can still hear me, huh? La 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 la.